Okay, sweet. This is the first time I'm using his laptop, so
Welcome in, Renegades. And today we're talking about something you should know in crypto on the internet computer. And today we're live with John from Icy Lighthouse, one of the biggest decentralized exchanges on the internet computer. Now, they have several different projects we're going to talk about later, but let me welcome in today our special guest, John Crowley. Welcome in, man.
thank you. I'm really happy to be on here. It's a good opportunity for us to help get our name out there. So
Yeah, and Icy Lighthouse has been one of my favorites ever since the first SNS1 token. That's the only place I could buy it at the time with liquidity. So I definitely have been a long time user. I'm repping the gear right now, actually, thanks to you at Chain Fusion Day. But just go ahead, like introduce yourself, give us a little bit of background on yourself and how you kind of came to Icy Lighthouse and ICP.
okay. So honestly, when I first got into crypto, I really didn't see myself ending up here. I mean, it was
Right?
almost 7 years ago. And when I got into Ethereum initially, that's when I started to really be kind of obsessed. Like just the capabilities of dApps just on Ethereum, I thought that was amazing. And I worked for an exchange, a decentralized exchange on Ethereum for probably like 3.5 years.
That's cool.
And ultimately, what made me kind of like disillusioned with Ethereum was I saw firsthand all of the limitations on dApps, like from behind the scenes. And uh, really, it started to make me disillusioned with crypto a little bit. And then I found ICP, and with all the scams and blockchain and stuff, I was thinking like this is too good to be true, you know. But I poured over Definity videos and papers, and I could not like find a flaw in it really. And I tried the chain, and I was like, wow, okay. I mean, like within I think a few months of finding it, I had an 8-year neurons.
Right? Same here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
that's ultimately what led me here to Icy Lighthouse was that same kind of like obsession with DeFi that basically kind of is just carried on the legacy with ICP. I mean, I feel like it's the next generation of DeFi.
yeah, because all the lending and borrowing protocols just cost a lot of gas fees when you're actually doing lending and borrowing. Decentralized exchange fees for tokens, especially on Ethereum. If you have less than $50, you can't even interact with the tokens. So
Yeah.
that's why the same kind of story for me a little bit is I started with Ethereum, then I got sick of the gas fees because I moved on to the tokens, right? And so that's a big thing I think Icy Lighthouse has is a lot of interaction with a lot of the tokens on the internet computer. And we'll talk about some of that later with the cross-chain capabilities. But I really resonate with that, man. We're kind of on the same page. Once you find ICP after Ethereum, it's just like leagues and bounds better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, from like a developer standpoint, it's just all of the like brick walls that you would run into on Ethereum. They're not problems here, so it's amazing, dude. Literally every single problem so far that I encountered as like a critical like exchange breaking issue on Ethereum is something that we were able to overcome at IC Lighthouse. Like we were able to build solutions around these problems that I think are pretty good solutions. Like I expect that they'll work over time. So
Okay.
um,
Well, introduce us to Icy Lighthouse. Just give us a brief overview on Icy Lighthouse, the mission, and what you guys are doing within the ICP ecosystem.
okay. So the IC Lighthouse is a DeFi centric company, of course. So our focus is entirely on building DeFi products for the IC. Um, And in pursuit of that goal, we've built a bunch of different products on the internet computer. We have IC Decks, IC Router. Um, we have
ICTC.
yeah, ICTC. We have IC House too, which is our block explorer. Um, and there's a few other like built-in tools on things like IC House, which are useful like for developers in particular. And our GitHub even has a lot of, since it's open source, we've focused on building a lot of documentations and stuff that would help other people to integrate IC Decks. So hopefully we'll see some integrations like that coming out soon. I know, well, I don't know what I'm able to really say about other projects actually, but I know of at least one other significant IC project that's trying to integrate IC Decks. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see all of the integrations with these DeFi platforms. Actually, for our project ICP Renegades, we are planning on integrating a DEX into our D app as well. So maybe we can talk about that later, because I was thinking ICPSWAP, but I mean, I don't really have a good working relationship with those guys. I know them a little bit, like from interactions, but it'd be cool to like partner with you guys on that and see if it's possible. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean, now would be a great time for it because we're honestly just now starting like our kind of marketing push, so we're looking to collaborate and kind of like build relationships with other significant projects and people in the ecosystem. So, I mean, yeah, it's something our team would definitely be willing to dedicate some time to.
Well, speaking of being more profound than other projects in the space, what sets Icy Lighthouse apart from other decentralized exchanges, both on the internet computer and just in blockchain in general?
Yeah, I mean, this one is kind of an easy question for our team. I mean, I know that sounds kind of cocky, but it's not because we're like full of ourselves. It's just we really put a lot of thought and effort into designing IC Decks to feel like a centralized exchange and to leverage all of the IC's capabilities in doing that, which I don't really think any other product has actually done, since there's not many DeFi applications on the IC yet. But so in leveraging those capabilities, like we've done things like our OAMM protocol and things like IC router, which will hopefully end up with some kind of like cross-chain pairings and things like that. So this is stuff that you really couldn't do on another chain, and nobody's done it yet on the IC. So we got a first mover advantage there.
Right.
So
That's awesome, man. I just appreciate what you guys are doing there. I think DeFi is a pivotal marker for a successful crypto project. And I think that the internet computer is able to bring DeFi to users in a way that's never done before. And I think Icy Lighthouse is leading the charge in that right now. So let's get into the next question here. What kind of user experience can traders and liquidity providers get from using Icy Lighthouse?
yeah, this one is also something that we've designed pretty carefully, and like we're constantly aiming to improve it too. So like we constantly try to push updates that optimize the website, and we're constantly trying to build new features. And we feel like we've tackled basically all of the core problems with order book dexes on things like Ethereum. So we don't have high fee constraints like you would see there. Block times aren't slow. We've solved kind of the ease of use of providing liquidity, which has been a huge problem for dexes on Ethereum. It's actually why AMMs even were created, because the order book model doesn't work on Ethereum. It's basically a whole chore to add liquidity, and it's the same process it would require on a centralized exchange. So essentially nobody has an advantage trading on these exchanges versus a centralized exchange, since there's already less liquidity. But things like our OAMM feature, we feel like basically levels the playing field. It's modeled to be just like an AMM. So providing liquidity on IC Decks is the same general process. It's going to feel the same, and the effect is going to be the same, if not better, from the different fee mechanisms in the pools. So that's definitely a major hurdle. And then on-chain data storage capabilities are basically non-existent with something like Ethereum. So having a fully on-chain exchange the way that ICP can support is definitely next level.
Yeah, that's a huge problem with a lot of the other chains that I've seen interacting with them. And so you brought up that you worked at another decentralized exchange before. What is the difference from working where you were to where you are now? Is there less problems technically, like you were talking about? Is there more access to higher technology? Like, what is the benefit that you have seen at Icy Lighthouse compared to the other decks you were at?
Well, there's a lot of differences for sure. Like technically speaking, that I don't see, like in our developer chats and stuff, I don't see the same things I would have seen at the other exchange, where
Right.
they're constantly trying to work around the limitations of the system, you know? Like the innovation wasn't the problem, it was being able to act on it within the limitations of the blockchain. But on ICP, that's really not a problem. Like projects are able to innovate way more, and you can build way more intricate apps. And you don't really hit the ceiling like you would on Ethereum. You'd hit the ceiling on Ethereum super quickly.
Right. So
But
it's scalable, it's more technically competent. And
right.
so do you like it better at ICP or IC Lighthouse? Is it like a better work environment? Like
Oh,
how is the feel?
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I don't want to name the exchange I worked at is because I really don't have good things to say about them. You know, like I walked away with like a bad taste in my mouth from it, you know?
Yeah.
So the vibe of the team wasn't nearly as like pro crypto as you would expect, right? Like at a Dex. At
Right.
IC Lighthouse, like we all believe in the mission of DeFi and crypto, and like we're genuine supporters of the technology. But the previous exchange I worked at, they were not as passionate as me, so that was immediately a problem. And I kind of just worked through it for a good couple years after realizing, but after a while I couldn't deal with it, like the limitations of the network and the fact that my team wasn't really like in it for the right reasons. I couldn't do it anymore, you know.
That's a big part of ICP is there's a lot of people, like you see people come and go, but the people that stick around have a real passion for the internet computer. It's because, so I can explain it from a crypto user perspective. When you're in crypto, you first start out just to make money in crypto. Most people do. And then
Yeah.
you start to learn about the capabilities of what crypto can do. So you start using DeFi, you start using different crypto applications, right? And so that brings you to a point where it becomes too much of a hassle to use Ethereum. It becomes too much of a hassle to use these other chains. Like even Solana is really fast. It's great, but it has those outages, right? And so from
Yeah,
a
that
user
scared me
perspective,
off Solana.
yeah, and I don't mind that. I still support Solana a little bit, but when it comes to an all-around competent blockchain, you need something like the internet computer because it addresses all
Yeah.
the issues that I faced as a user. The transaction speed I hated, especially when the price is moving crazy. and you need to take profit really quick, or send crypto to an exchange to take profit, right? Well, if that transaction takes an hour or two, the price could already be going down, right? So, and then using a D app, all of the connection fees, because ICP has a reverse gas model, so all of the gas fees, right, to connect to these D apps, which it made it just like so unuser friendly. So that's why I think the internet computer is the best to build a DeFi application. We have the best community and we have the best technology. So how does Icy Lighthouse address the issue of transaction speed and cost compared to other blockchains and the internet computer? Or not the internet computer, but just other blockchains.
Right. Well, I mean, this problem really doesn't exist on ICP, which is one of the main reasons that we decided to build here, at least initially. It basically removes all of the problems of like slow block times and these extreme gas spikes and things that basically break applications. I mean, there's no way to really code around these without like convoluted L2 setups and stuff. And at that point, it feels like you're not even really using Ethereum, and there's not really a benefit to not using it, you know? Like if you were to use ICP as an L2, you would be gaining way more capability. It actually makes sense, you know? But to use it for like Polygon or something like that, I mean, you're getting the transaction speed boost and stuff, but I don't think there's much other benefit there. And that's what I feel like that's what made it hard for people to want to adopt that sort of stuff.
I agree. Yeah, and getting in comparison with other blockchains, the internet computer is one that basically can integrate with any of these other chains, including Polygon. And so what I see happening is a lot of other chains utilizing the technical capabilities of the internet computer to grow their chains. That's what a multi-chain world computer is, right? Every crypto integrated. We have a bunch of ERC20 tokens now. And let's get into that. I want to know with Icy Lighthouse, what are you guys doing, or Icy Decks, I should say. What are you guys doing with cross-chain capabilities? Because I saw you at Chain Fusion in Nashville, and you were a speaker on stage, so it was great to meet you there. So what are you guys doing with this cross-chain capability? Because this is going to be one of the biggest narratives going into this bull run and in the future bull runs.
Well, right now we have a lot of plans related to the new Definity milestone. I think it's called Deuterium, right?
Yep.
So that implements the I think it's threshold snore signatures. So that's used by chains like Solana, Cardano, Ripple, Polkadot, and I think Definity even shared a metric that it's like one of the most commonly used outside of blockchain too. So, I mean, that opens a lot of doors for decentralized finance. I mean, we're obviously looking at things like Solana as immediate focuses because, I mean, there's a lot of DeFi liquidity there. But, I mean, it opens a lot of doors for like things we probably can't even think of, like imagine right now. But
right.
I'm sure we'll find a way to do something that's innovative other than just implementing these other blockchains and trying to integrate their transactions, because there's a lot of different possibilities there when they add something like this. And usually, like as you can see just with the internet computer itself, like when it launched, look how long it's taken teams to really come up with like these groundbreaking things leveraging the technology. Like it takes a while to develop, but as time goes on, it just continues to blow your mind.
Right.
That's how Ethereum started, and then it kind of capped off and fell off. And
yeah,
I feel like ICP is taking the reins. Honestly, it's an exciting future. So
I love the evolution of crypto. I loved Ethereum in the beginning. That's why I'm a big
Yeah.
ICP guy, is because just everything that Ethereum could do. Like I love Bitcoin because I could stack Bitcoin. It was a good store of value. But when I really started utilizing and using crypto, Ethereum was my favorite. And then there was just, like I said, so many different things that turned me off on Ethereum. And so I was looking for another chain. I really liked Algorand, Polygon, and then the internet computer came in, and I was like, oh, damn, this is the one. I bought a big bag at $44 because that was before I got grant. Like that was before I started making content about ICP. I was like, I'm investing in this because of what it can do. And then it's just been a great journey from there. I do think that you guys at Icy Lighthouse, at ICPSWAP, at Toniq are the ones who are really going to bring users into the internet computer, because DeFi is the biggest thing in crypto. There is so many different things that you can do. Traditional banks will not give you a loan for almost anything. So I know this question's out of nowhere, but are you guys planning, and I heard maybe Bitfinity is thinking of lending and borrowing protocols, but I'd love to see it from you guys. Is there any talks about lending and borrowing protocols, since you are DeFi? And I think the internet computer would be the best place for DeFi lending and borrowing.
Yeah, I mean, that is something we've actually discussed relatively recently. Somebody else was suggesting it, I think, from a different project. And I mean, I don't think there's immediate plans for it, but that definitely seems like a direction we're likely to go eventually.
I mean, it's still so
Probably
new.
sooner than later, you know?
Yeah, it's so new yet. And so that's the thing, is like, and then by the next bull run, we're going to have those lending borrowing protocols. And I'd use them all the time, because like when the price of ICP, like goes down or goes up, you can utilize lending and borrowing. You can borrow some ICP at $6 and then pay it back at $8, and then boom, you make a profit on there, and people would want to use that instead of using like a stable coin, or using a centralized exchange, and then doing, a little margin trade over there, to borrow a little bit of crypto. I think it'd be very pivotal to have this capability on the internet computer. So go to your team, tell them we need it immediately. No, I'm just kidding, man.
I mean, it is something that we talked about. I mean, I'll bring it back up and see how everybody feels about it,
Please
because I
do.
think you got a good point that like short term, yeah, we're looking at like the current metrics and how to boost those, but long term, we should definitely position ourselves the best we can for basically the a run up on ICP, where people are just going to be flooding in here and
Yep.
trying to trade. I mean,
Man,
it's
that,
a
and
it's a
so
solid strategy long term.
yeah, Definity really concentrates on the technicals, and I think it's up to us as like the community and like the projects building in the community is to really bring these other capabilities to the internet computer, because when the people do come in, that's what they're going to be looking for. So
Yeah,
we can get the users in with the technology, but we need a way to keep the users in. And so to do that, you're going to need these protocols within your DEX, and your DEX seems like one of the most technically sound decentralized exchanges in all of crypto, let alone on the internet computer. So I can't wait to see what you guys do with Threshold Snore, with more ERC20. You got CK Uni over on IC Dex now. What other CK tokens do you have?
honestly, we added a lot. I would have to look at the list, but
That's
we have like the CKUSDC, CKUSDT. Those are going to be popular for sure. I've already used them myself.
yeah. Well, you need
But
those for lending and borrowing protocols anyway, so that's a
yeah.
really good thing.
And we have I think it was mainly exchange tokens we added, like the DAO governance tokens, like Uni. But there's definitely some that I'm forgetting in there. But
Okay.
if you want to check it out, you just got to go to iclight.io and click on IC router at the top, and you can just use the drop down on the left. But that we're constantly updating that as we add support for more. So ERC20 in particular, that's something that might constantly be changing since we can support any ERC20 right now. And I believe the Solana stuff, I mean, that should be soon now that Dfinity's pushed that upgrade. So we should have things like Solana tokens first, and from there we'll probably explore other ones depending on what's the most popular.
Oh, whoops. I don't know what just happened there. It just kicked me out. Okay. So these are all the tokens over here. Go to token. Ah, it's making me sign in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it forces you to sign in, unfortunately.
Okay. I don't mind signing in. I was just trying to do this fast. Oh, it won't let me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have a bunch of CK tokens. Sorry about that. My computer.
Well, I can probably pull it up on my end if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let me see. I got a different computer for this, so.
No worries.
Oh wait, here, I'll just move the keyboard. All right.
Live streams, right? Never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I switched from my main computer for live streams because the lighting was just awful with my like desktop webcam thing.
Oh yeah,
So
lighting.
it looks like, you see how the lighting is in here. It looks like I was in like dim cave lighting.
I think it looks good, just that soft light. Like I think it accents like you, and like the background, it kind of makes it like float back there. I think it's good lighting myself.
Yeah, I'm talking about the other one that I switched from. That one, like, I was in meetings and stuff, and like it was almost always a question like what time zone I was in, because people thought it was nighttime, like it was so dim.
That's funny.
All right, hold on, I gotta sign into Plug.
I guess Dom has some big news. What do you guys think it'll be? Is it the Icy Lighthouse is the top DEX on ICP?
We certainly try to be. I mean, I would venture to say we're the most innovative right now, but I mean that could change. But right now, it seems like we're the only exchange that's really going these routes with like chain key technology and trying to create new things with it. You know, like a lot of the AMMs. I mean, they're adding new stuff, but it's kind of like stuff you've seen before on Uniswap and other exchanges, which I mean it's nothing to scoff at. I mean those are popular exchanges on Ethereum and they're doing pretty well here on ICP, but we think once we get our name out there more, we stand a good chance.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a big marketing push yet, so that it's interesting to hear that you guys are starting to market your products now. That's very important, so I can't wait to see what you do.
Yeah, we're hoping to I mean we already have a couple collaborations with other projects that are fairly well known in the ecosystem. One of them in particular for sure. We got a trading event live actually in collaboration with the Open Chat DAO. So nice. Trades on that pairing, I think the event's like half over, but trades on that pairing over the next few days will earn you points, which will earn you ICL for your trades. So if you were looking to trade chat already, I mean, that's the perfect way to get some extra profit off your trades.
Okay, so let's just explain to the audience if they don't know, ICL is the Icy Lighthouse token and chat is the open chat token. Both are DAOs. Icy Lighthouse is a DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization. So everything they do goes through governance and is voted on by the community.
Right. And so we have another event that's not totally finalized, but we'll have another trade mining event for I believe it's the Motoko token.
Okay.
So we just got to finalize the amounts on that. That'll probably be at the end of this event though. And we also have regular just ICL trade mining events too. So if you're just trading on IC Decks in general, you're almost certainly going to be participating in these mining rounds, whether you realize it or not. So if you've traded like in the past month or two, you can go to our mining page under the IC Decks dropdown, and you can probably claim ICL depending on which round you were in.
Okay, cool.
So we're trying to make that a pretty regular thing. And we're hoping some things like that are going to help to attract users more than anything, you know, because profit is the best motivator for traders.
It is. And when you offer rewards like that, it incentivizes people that would be trading already, like on a different DEX, to come and utilize your platform to do all their trades, because then they can make their money with their trades, but also get that extra ICL tokens. I think that's a great business model. I think it's important for projects to reward and engage their communities. So that gives people incentives, and that's the kind of thing that we're going to need when people come here. More people come to ICP, they're going to need trading competitions. They're going to need these incentives to, hey, you know, I'm already doing this, why not do it here? That is what I'm thinking, because getting, you know, traditional people in crypto is a slow walk. But I think, you know, getting people from other chains to come and stay is a jog, right? And then eventually we'll be running full speed with it. So I just appreciate that, man. If you want to share your screen, we can go and you can kind of show people a little bit more about these tokens and your website. Hey, Foxfire's here. What's up, man? Hello.
All right. So, oh wait, shit. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm using a different computer to look it up.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to switch real quick.
That's okay. So I just want to talk about IC Decks for a minute. It is one of the dexes that I've seen a lot of other projects use within the ecosystem. So not only does it have a lot of user traffic, but it also has ecosystem project traffic. When I talk to other projects, you'd think it'd be ICPSWAP. Or like Toniq, that's the go-to DEX because they were around first. But I hear a lot more people making noise about Icy Lighthouse, and I love those other two projects. I think all three are pivotal for ICP. But I hear a lot of chatter about, you know, Icy Lighthouse, and I didn't see anybody from ICPSWAP or Toniq, you know, at Bitcoin Nashville. I'm just saying. We need a presence from all of these projects at these big events, and I think that's what's going to set Icy Lighthouse apart from other projects in ICP and blockchain in general. Is that presence, that marketing push, that, you know, face of John Crowley. Now we have a face to Icy Lighthouse that's out there doing things, and so we resonate with people when we see them, when we talk to them, when we interact and network. Like, I've been trying to get Icy Lighthouse on the channel for years, it seems like. And then I go to one event at Bitcoin Nashville, I meet you, and now you're on the channel. So I think having that presence, having your face out there is going to be one of the things that makes you guys absolutely successful.
Yeah, I hope to see that it has a good impact on the marketing side of things, just because it seemed like having no presence on that front wasn't really working for us, you know. So I feel like it can't hurt, at least, to try to, you know, get out and do AMAs and talk about it.
Well, yeah, because we have a big audience that comes to this channel, and I think, you know, a lot of people use ICPSWAP just because it was like the first one, and they really don't know a lot about Icy Lighthouse. So I think getting the audience, the people that already are using ICP, especially, not even other chains, to utilize Icy Lighthouse as one of their very main dexes. And I trade on multiple dexes. I actually trade on IC Decks, I trade on ICPSWAP and Toniq. So I really think that IC House, it's your time. It's time, you know. I really think this year is going to be Icy Lighthouse.
I hope so. I mean, we're making a big push like we haven't before. So I'm hoping that, I mean, our strategy was to build out as much as we could before making this push. And we feel like we reached that point with the OAMM pools making liquidity easier, the
Can you
trade
explain that
mining
real quick?
going back live.
The
What happened?
OAMM pools?
Yeah, that's our it's an AMM style liquidity pool that ties to our live order books. So it's essentially solved all of the problems that you would have faced on an order book DEX with Ethereum. You know, you
So
don't
that's
need
what
a
you're talking
trading
about.
bot.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need a trading bot. You don't have to really understand how the market's moving like minute by minute. You know, it's doing all of the hard work for you, just like an AMM. So we hope that that bridges the gap between AMM liquidity and our DEX's liquidity, because really we feel like that was the main thing that brought people to exchanges like ICPSWAP over us initially. Was it wasn't clear how to provide liquidity, you know, like it was a complex thing. Most users wouldn't be capable of doing it. And now we bridge the gap. I mean, literally anybody could provide liquidity. All you need is like a basic AMM understanding and the ability to just operate like a simple AMM interface. So,
Well, that's what I was just going to ask next. Like, what are you doing to onboard new users to use your site and add liquidity? And it seems like some of these technical innovations that you guys have, that you saw there's problems in other, dexes on different chains, and you decided to go and fix that problem. It's only capable on the internet computer, though. Like you said, you can't really do that with Ethereum because it's limited. So I think that's
right.
going to be a big catalyst to keep people using IC Decks, having the capability to make it user friendly, to onboard new people into the ecosystem in an easy way. Because I'm going to tell you, even from somebody who's been around for 4 years in crypto and used a lot of DeFi applications, if it's too complicated even for me, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to go somewhere else where it's easy to add liquidity, or it's easy to trade my token, or I have more, tokens that I can trade. And I think you guys are doing everything you need to combat those issues before they happen. You have a wide variety of tokens, including CK tokens. You have the OAMM, which makes it easy to add liquidity. It makes it, more technically competent. And then just utilizing different things like Iclighthouse to have those transactions be able to be monitored and looked at. So I think the overall picture of everything you have, I don't know exactly what ICTC is, but
I believe I'm not 100% sure on that. That's something more for like our developers to
it says
explain. But
go ahead.
my understanding is that it's like it's an integration tool, I'm pretty sure. So it's something that people would use to integrate IC decks.
Yes, that's exactly, you're right. It says a distributed transaction framework for DeFi development in Motoko. So yeah, 100%. So it's like you were talking about earlier, where projects are looking to integrate IC Deck
Yeah.
into their DApp. The ICTC makes that possible. I think that's really brilliant.
Right, and we've also like communicated with teams looking to do this just to make sure like if there is any problems we can like maybe address them in the code, or we can help them along if needed, you know. So we're trying to make sure that all of these go through smooth, and ultimately we want to see IC decks integrated in as many places as possible, especially since like integrations like in plug and things like that. I mean, those make a big impact on volumes and liquidity for sure.
Yeah. So it looks like one of my moderators uses Icy Lighthouse. He said he won 14 ICL on Icy Light in mining section. So it looks
Nice.
like anytime you do some trading over there, depending on what round you're in, is how many ICL, and depending on your trading volume. So that's really
Right.
cool. I'm gonna go start trading. Is it still live? Can we? You said we can still do this, right? There's still a round going on right now.
Yeah, I believe there's a normal ICL round and then there's also the chat round. Now, the chat
Cool.
round, since that is like pairing specific, not like the wide range of pairings, you would probably make more profit from that. I mean, I mean, that would be assuming you want to trade chat in the first place. I mean, you shouldn't. I can't recommend that you trade something you didn't already want to. But
Right.
if you were going to trade chat as far as participating in the mining, that has much bigger reward pool, and it's going to be likely a smaller amount of people distributed to.
So why do you call it mining? Isn't it like an airdrop? Like what? Explain that a little bit if you can.
Well, that's just like that's a term that like AMMs on Ethereum dubbed it. I'm not 100% sure why they do that necessarily, but um it's called trade mining, like that's the full name. So
Okay.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what the logic of that was, but we just continued with like the naming scheme so people that might have been familiar with it on other platforms are readily able to understand it.
Nice. Cool. Let me get to another question here. We already talked about new users. We talked about tokens a little bit, but what tokens are currently listed on Icy Lighthouse? Are there all of the SNS tokens? Are there all of the tokens in ICP? Or is Renegade token on is Renegade on there? Or does it have to be added or whitelisted like ICPSWAP and have liquidity in order to be traded?
Well, right now, I mean, initially before the DAO launch, we only approved SNS tokens, and that was for kind of like legal constraints. Like we didn't, when we approve a token ourselves, we're kind of in a legal sense endorsing it or something. So like
Okay,
if that project scams or whatever, that reflects poorly on us.
right,
So we try to play it safe and protect our users that way. But now that we're a DAO, I mean, anybody can submit a proposal to list a token, and as long as it gets votes, I mean, it doesn't matter the liquidity or anything like that. It just needs support from the DAO, and you're good to go.
right on. And so is it because I did a proposal on Open Chat and we got Renegade token listed on there? Is it the same kind of process? You lock up some Icy Lighthouse tokens for a certain amount of time, and then how would you do that? So the thing with Open Chat, and I want to see this on more platforms, especially that are DAOs, actually only that are DAOs, where they have a governance feature built in to the D app. So I go on to Open Chat and I go into the governance section. I can submit a proposal right there. I don't have to know how to code. I don't need to know
Yeah,
how to
that's
do
that's a
anything.
really cool feature for
And
sure.
so, is there any plans? Please tell me there is. And there, this is a question I just drop on you, by the way. But is there any plans? And if not, I hope we're stirring up some stuff in you right now to take back to your team. But is there any plans to add a feature like that? I know you're a Dex; it's different than a SocialFi app, so it might have different limitations. But is there any plan to bring a governance section into either your website, into the actual deck, so that it makes it easy for these projects to, I mean, because we can pay our developers to do it, right? We can pay the
Yeah.
developers, but it would be easy for a project leader who's not a developer to just go in and say, boom, I'm submitting a proposal. All I got to do is fill this out, lock up the chat tokens or the ICL tokens right here, and then boom, I am good to go. And then if the proposal goes through, I'm good, and if not, then I pay the fee. Is there any plan for that?
There wasn't initially, but I mean that is something that I'm not sure that we would integrate it on the site itself, but I mean we could probably like in talking with Open Chat or something, assuming they were agreed, we could probably like add that to our channel because we have like a community channel on Open Chat. So um I'm sure they would be willing to implement something like that for us. I mean, we've been working with them on some promotional stuff. So, um, I mean, it'd probably be a DAO decision, but I don't see why the DAO would reject something like that. So,
Maybe I'll propose it.
yeah, I mean, we would definitely back it.
Nice. I love that. So I want to basically just kind of wrap this up now. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you guys for what you're doing, because I'm a holder of ICP, I'm a project leader, and I'm a content creator. So I am heavily invested, not only my money, my time, my community, and everything in ICP. So when I see projects innovating and that are open to hear what the community has to say, that's very important. I just appreciate that. And I'm going to be supporting you guys going forward. I'd love to have you on the channel again in a couple of months or something to see like where Icy Lighthouse is then. And you probably are going to have some amazing stuff to show us. So again, thank you, John. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Really just we appreciate you having us on. And I mean, we ever since I met you in Nashville and I seen how committed to crypto you were, like I knew I was gonna try to follow up on the stream, because like you're exactly the type of person that like meshes with our company's passion for crypto, you know? So
Thank
it
you.
felt like the perfect place for us to do an AMA.
Yeah, and you were hella chill when I met you. Like you even came up the next day when I was like working for Windoge, which I wasn't. I was just there supporting them. But that's my passion, man. I literally sat there all day onboarding people to Windoge without getting paid, without nothing, just to support. Well, I mean, Showgates is awesome, but just to support ICP too. It's people. And it's my passion for crypto that have made my channel what it is. And then, of course, amazing projects that come and give me the opportunity to showcase them to my audience. So thank you, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. Like I still have my Windows shirt too.
Nice. I was
That's
trying to onboard you too. I didn't recognize you at first, and he's like, "Hey, come over here," and I'm like, "Bro, you need to check out Windoge." And then I look like you're like, "Hey, it's me." I don't remember exactly. I think you said, "Hey, it's me," John. You met
Yeah,
me
that's
yesterday, and
all
then I
good,
saw your
man.
Icy Lighthouse shirt, and I was like, "Oh damn." All right,
Yeah, I mean,
guys.
it was the chain fusion stage was super dark, and we only met briefly, like initially. So I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, and you were in your business. I think that's what it was. You were like all in
yeah,
your business attire at Chain Fusion, and then you just come up looking like just some random crypto guy. So I was like, damn, let's get this guy on Windoge right now. Cool. Well, that's all we're gonna have for today, guys. Thank you so much. All right, guys. That being said, goodbye and good ICP.